Exactly. He like, nah, you wouldn't act like that. Yeah. No, trust me. Yeah. You wouldn't act like that. I'm like, all right, bet.
As I was telling him, a wild ride. There's some crazy stuff in this film. But, congratulations on pulling it off. It was a lot of fun. My first question is just, for everyone here, a simple one. Just before boarding the project, what are your personal connections to vampires? What are some of your favorite interpretations out there?
The Van Helsing movie was really good for me. Of course, the Blade series and the Underworld series. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a pretty locked in. I mean, True Blood also. True Blood kind of started my vampirism in a little bit. I could be a vampire for a day if they allow for me to, undo it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's a temporary thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's me.
I'm a big Coppola's Dracula fan. Operatic, as you can see, going big and not letting off the gas. Near Dark and Lost Boys, kind of more the punky, wild takes on them. And that was our definitely our intention with this was to have fun with the vampire lore and kind of push it into new ways.
So I love that segue, Ryan, because my next question is vampire lore.
Oh, here we go. I'm seeing what you're.
How did you approach building that in this movie? Where did you start with that, and what did you want to avoid? Mm-hmm. What were your kind of parameters of this is what I want to do with the vampire lore?
Yeah, the fun, myself and the three other writers wrote the film together, and we have been a writing team for a while, and so we just really had fun with. The cool thing about vampire movies in general is you get to set the rules and then explain the rules and then upend the rules and play with them. So that was our initial take was okay, well, what can we do to kind of push and surprise, what works, what doesn't work, what part of the lore, vampire lore, traditional lore are we taking, are we flipping, are we playing with? So that was definitely the intention from jump.
Did you get to add anything? Were you hey, what if we did this? Did you have any say in adding to the lore?
Yeah. Luckily, Ryan let me change a lot. And you'll see a few choices that are made in the moment that may seem it's totally scripted like that, or Ryan will see something done and be like, oh, let's try that again. But RJ do it right this time.
Are there any examples that you can share? I know you got to navigate spoilers and all that, but
spoiler.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of asking for spoilers. I'll just say it's there are YG times that are really great also that were just YG being YG.
Yeah, sort of the grounding other side of this happening to us.
Exactly. He nah, you wouldn't act like that. Yeah. No, trust me. Yeah. You wouldn't act like that. I'm like, all right, bet.
Now, we had some light questions, so I have a deeper question for you. I don't think it's a controversial take, obviously, to say that a narrative focused on cops in today's climate is a hard sell for some. So for this film, and you guys can both, answer this, how do you feel it'll click with audiences despite that trickery?
I think just the fact that it's a fun vampire movie. It's you ain't got to read too deep. And luckily Ryan wasn't, trying to make the police look bad. He was just making a fun movie. So it's that keeps it refreshing. You feel me? It's just a fun movie. You have cops in this movie that are favorite characters. You feel me? And they also just look cool as hell. So when you don't overthink it, right? It's just such a refreshing movie because it's fun. We literally simply made a fun ass vampire movie.
Yeah, that is, the fun of vampire movies, of horror genre in general, is just make a thrill ride with it. And then, obviously there are a lot of, like you said, everything going on today, this touches on that. If you want to dive into that and the thematics of all that, that's there. But, the other side of it, just the surface level fun and popcorn sort of thrill ride of it is there too. So that was from jump, the design of it is to be thrilling and fun and, like say something and everything in between.
Yeah, and I want to digging a little deeper, everyone is free to chime in for this as well. I think the way the movie utilizes the horror genre and vampires in such an awesome way to comment on these kind of serious real life issues, stuff like corruption, generational trauma. Can you talk about bringing those heavy themes to audiences through the lens of fun vampire horror, but being like, no, but there's stuff to look deeper in if you want to. Or you can just breeze on by, have a fun vampire movie, but if you want to look deeper, it's all there.
Yeah, I think the goal for me is to make something lasting and something that you can kind of revisit and peel back and the layering is there. But again, that is the fun of horror and the fun of genre and in particular is that there's always deeper themes that you're playing with and stuff I'm sure that's probably obviously in there that we didn't even intend on, that is just for smarter critics to figure out and peel and talk about than I could do, but that's why we wanted to make a horror film is they're always steeped in themes and talking about something deeper, and then with that it's still the sugar with the medicine of having the fun with it. So
I don't know if you had anything to add.
No, you said everything.
Cool.
Yeah, you
Nailed
passed
it.
this. I want to talk about what was so interesting is just the morality of these characters. And I'll start with you first, Ryan. Not so many of these characters are very ambiguous in their moral values, and it's just they're not one thing. Because one of the main characters basically starts off doing something just so bad,
heinous.
Yes, but then the movie's still but wait a second, he has potentially this moral goal, and but then so you kind of what am I supposed to think? So what is your approach in anchoring these characters, in creating the stories, and balancing how you want audiences to connect with them?
Yeah, I think again, our initial goal was let's make a movie where the heroes, quote unquote heroes of it are from people in a community that are never get spotlighted. They're never the hero of these movies, and then the moral ambiguity of that is bringing the humanity to it and bringing the character to it, and RJ and Jermaine Fowler and Justin Long digging into these really sort of multi-sided, multifaceted characters, and that's what excites me about movie making and storytelling is just how you can watch these characters go from doing something awful to you're laughing with them next to that's life. That's that's what I mean. Hopefully you're not with them for the awful
hopefully
shit.
It's life. Hopefully.
Not. It was so cool that RJ and the cast were not afraid to sort of dive into that and really I don't know, play with that and be brave with that. That's that's what it excited me about making the film.
Yeah, RJ, your character is obviously not innocent. But he is kind of positioned as
Who is?
Yeah, he's the protagonist in this film, the guy who gets thrown into something. He's wait a second, what did I just get thrown into for no reason? And just can you talk to me about making him relatable to audiences, but staying true to what Ryan wrote, and not necessarily being the best person, but still being true to the words on the page.
Yeah, he's just a good depiction of humanity in general. We don't. All of us have that warrior in us, but it's not a mask that we have to put on every single day because we're not faced with confrontation maybe every day, but it's always in there, but we scared of it sometimes ourselves. Wazzy, I feel, he really is kind of like a RJ, we not innocent, You feel me? But we have the greatest intentions for all of our interactions. You know, like Wazzy wanted better. That's why the things that he was kind of surrounded around it didn't really resonate with him too much until further on in him kind of letting go of his own ego or fears in a way and kind of taking his mom's advice on this or listening to what mama said at the end of the day. It's like that. Even just that lesson, as long as you kind of keep up with the adolescent him, you'll love him throughout the movie. You know, he just shows that it's like the little brother that you want to grow up, but he ain't never gonna grow up probably.
Can I speak to that a little bit too? And again, RJ and you know, on the other side of the spectrum, Justin, it is this like, it's so interesting to me, like of watching them sort of dance with like, again, like these hard actions or awful actions, or, you know, being surrounded or sort of mired in that, but then also like that not turning you off, or they're still so relatable, and they're still so like, you know, like grab your attention, grab the screen, that it's just like, it's magic what they're able to like do and take you on this like emotional roller coaster. Like, yeah, I mean, it was so cool too. RJ hadn't seen the film, so like,
you had to watch it for the first time yesterday with the audience.
And so lit.
And that was fun to just even be like, after it's like, well, it's just
I look way bigger than what I thought I did. The camera added 10 pounds correctly this time. I was like, I was like,
yeah, that's the right spot to add it. Thank you
exactly.
so much. You know, we're at Fantastic Fest. So what is one thing that you think, like one unique thing about this film that you think really has it stand out amongst all of the other films playing here at the festival?
The good balance of like comedy and horror, and then just the story that stays refreshing throughout the time. I think that'll be something that sticks out, you know, about our movie.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's like, it is like a lot of things, like you said, to a lot of different people. Like it's fun, and there's action and comedy, and there's heart in it, and like we're pushing some buttons, and it's uncomfortable at times, and like that to me is like the fun of cinema, and especially genre cinema, is that you can kind of push that and really fun and unexpected ways. And I just feel like I haven't seen any of the other movies yet. I'm gonna see on the second half of the fest, but there's no way anybody else has made a movie like this at this festival.
That's a good declaration. I think it's probably true. Last question for you both. Just throughout the whole process, you know, whether it's before cameras started rolling, during, after, now, what do you think was the most surprising challenge that you faced?
You want to go with that first? Or?
I mean, we had a lot of visitors on set that were not a part of company, and I think that was the most surprising because it was constant. But I feel like by probably like the third visit, it was probably just them they were interested.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's like we're doing something that isn't really seen by them in the process, but of course they love movies. But it's now y'all just like to watch and see what we do. It's pretty fucking cool, ain't it? Yeah. Come a little closer. Just let us work. You know, that was probably it.
That's fun.
I think it was just like wrangling so many characters, stories, making sure we had time for everybody on such a tight, you know, schedule. Like we were just in it, running and gunning, and to make sure everyone, you know, had their shine, had their proper moment. Like we're in and out of stories, like in this ensemble sort of piece, and when we're transitioning, you know, from story to story, and just again how we were shooting that and covering that was the big challenge. Like going into production, like once we had the cast that we had, it's incredible, like locked in, and everybody was like so game and ready to like throw down and like go to very hard places, you know, like like I knew we were going to be good. It was just then making sure we could take full advantage of, like setting that up properly and making sure everybody was given proper due.